electric.
So we're still having a problem with the Solaredge app, the new app here shown on the right hand side, the old app shown on the left hand side, and it sort of illustrates the issues that I have first thing in the morning. So when I'm waking up, having my first cup of tea, looking at my stats and updating my spreadsheets, I look at the new app and I can see that we've imported from the grid 150 watt hours, and we've got self-consumption there of 120 watt hours, but I can't really see anything else. On the old app it used to show me the export as well, so I can see we've exported 30 watt hours, but that's just not visible on the new app. So a bit of a shame. I just found the data representation and the graph all in one on the left hand side on the old app just much easier to use than the new one. But when it does work, and when all the data looks right, yeah, the new app does look a little bit prettier. It's just got a fault, and it's sad to see that Solaredge are quite slow to react to that. I've also got a bit of an issue with the Huawei app as well. I did have it last month in August, but I decided it wasn't a big enough issue at the time to report in the monthly stats. But do you know, it is now. It's becoming a bit of an issue because it's ongoing further, and it's giving me a laugh, really, that the poor old developers here must be going, yeah, fix that, and then some older manager, hopefully older and wiser, is looking at it and going, no, you haven't fixed that, so go back and do it again. And obviously every time they do these things, and every time they try and fix things, then the database is changing, and because of that, it's down to the customers. They have to have downtime to manage and maintain and fix what the problems is and then fix the fixes. So we see that as downtime and poor service to us. Partly, that's why it's really worth keeping your data in a spreadsheet so that you have got access to your own data and you can see whether it's right or wrong in these apps. So a couple of weeks ago, I was just looking at my data in the spreadsheets, and I suddenly saw that there was a disparity between the amount of solar generation I was getting on the Solaredge array versus this new Huawei array. And it looked like I had a fault. I thought, oh my goodness, I must have some debris or something, or a faulty panel, because we're just not generating very much on this array. And lo and behold, it wasn't a fault with the array. It was just that the data was wrong. The data for one day in the Huawei app was wrong. It was dated, say, the 4th of the month, where the data actually related to the 3rd of the month. So I looked back and I saw that there were quite a few issues between the data I had recorded in my spreadsheet and the data that was showing on the Huawei screen. So I went back and changed all of my data in my spreadsheet to represent the data that's showing in the app. I thought I had a problem, that I was inputting it wrong. But after I'd done that, I suddenly noticed that all of the proportions between the Solaredge array and my Huawei array were now incorrect and were out. It just looked wrong. So I changed it all back with an undo. Obviously it didn't take that long, and lo and behold, the percentages were right. So what I could suddenly see was the app was showing me data for a particular day, but when I input it into that particular day, it was showing wrong. So I was getting warning from my spreadsheet telling me that the data was incorrect in the Huawei app. The data for the day was wrong. So that problem with the Huawei app still exists. So if we have a look now at the monthly view in Huawei, I'm looking here at the day of the 3rd of September, and it's showing 7.89 kilowatt hours of generation. But if we then have a look at the 2nd of September, it's showing a generation of 5.39 kilowatt hours. Those numbers in the monthly view are actually correct. But when we look at the day data, which is what I've been using previously, so here we're looking at the 3rd of September, it shows 5.39 kilowatt hours of yield. Well, that wasn't the 3rd, that was the 2nd. And it's like that consistently. So here on the 2nd of September, it's showing a yield of 5.53. Well, that was the yield from the 1st of September. So going back as long as I've had the system now, the database is incorrect for a day. But just to confuse me even more, the graph below, which represents the energy being used, that's actually correct for the day that's being shown. So if I look here at the Myenergi graph for the same day of the 2nd of September, it matches the same graph that I'm seeing in Huawei, even though the data for yield is incorrect. It's for the previous day. Another sign that we've got a problem here, if we look at the blue line for self-consumption and we see the scale of 1 kilowatt, it peaks above the 1 kilowatt about 3 times there on the graph. Yield of 3.75. On the next day though, 8.65 yield, so it should be higher, but actually the blue line is further down below the 1 kilowatt level, clearly showing a problem. Now, I know some people will say holding spreadsheet data and inputting it every day, that's really geeky and they don't want to do it and they haven't got the time to do it. Well, for those couple of minutes that I spent updating data and for how I learn and understand from looking at the data in detail, and then I can observe issues and faults with the software, which actually saves me time and understanding of what's going on in the data, then I think this alone, these software issues, really justify holding your own source of data presented in a way that you like seeing consistently, and it gives you a cross-check that things are correct. Talking of problems, I have a problem with the Myenergi app as well. When I click the Zappi icon, it takes me to the details about the Zappi, and it should allow me to control the device. Where it doesn't. It looks like it's trying to load historical data, and until it's loaded that data, it won't stop this spinning wheel in the middle of the screen, so I can't control the device. Now, I'm not saying this to be negative towards Myenergi, or Huawei, or Solaredge. They all have problems. The issue that we're concerned with is how many do they have and how quickly do they fix them, and when they fix them, are they fixed correctly or do they have to go back and fix them again? It's worth thinking about when you're designing your system, not just about the hardware and how efficient it is, but the software and how usable it is and how frustrating it might be. What sort of apps do you have? Do you have problems with them? Which ones are annoying because they have too many problems or they don't fix them? And which react the best? I find Solaredge are pretty good, but pretty resistant to change. Myenergi are really good, but they have more problems, but they do go ahead and fix them quite quickly. Useful discussion point, I think, and in the comments below, if we can get a variety of people's opinions on the different systems, then it might give people considering which system to go for a clue as to what their experience will be like on the software side. Anyway, thank you for watching. As always, a little bit of a dull video talking about software faults, but hope you enjoyed it. Take care, see you again soon. Bye for now.